Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm sitting in my spot. I'm looking down because there is a hole in my dress. That might be a little bit too much information, right? But yeah. So I had an experience yesterday that I want to talk about as it relates to YouTube. And it's been very interesting as today I celebrate my third week of posting every day on YouTube. And I have grown from 13 subscribers to 35, I believe. Now, some persons might say, oh Lord, that's nothing to talk about, nothing to celebrate. But I have learned in my life that a win is a win and should be taken as such. I also had about 8 videos, which I took off all of them. And so basically, I started afresh. And this is on a channel that is 4 years old. And so, at last check, between shorts and videos, I had 66, I believe. That's quite an achievement. And the benefit of me being so calm and not wondering what am I doing wrong, even though it did cross my mind as I listened to many content creators saying turn this on, light this up, stop doing that, stand on your head. Okay, nobody said stand on your head, but there are kind of different suggestions that are being given. One thing happened that caught my attention, and it has happened steadily, but at first I didn't pay it much attention until about week 2 of posting every day, several times per day, and I realized that it had basically just tapered off, basically plateaued, and the only thing that was getting any sort of views were my shorts. And good enough, I have tons of shorts because as somebody in tourism, in travel, and having the benefit of going to many properties and sailing on many ships, I have tons of content to share. So the shorts were becoming the lifesaver. But I mention this particularly because last night I was just kind of playing around. I love music and I love several different singers, um, Spanish singers. I speak Spanish, I'm bilingual. Actually, I am multilingual. I speak, depending on the day of the week, about 5 to 7 different languages. But if I were to say where I'm most fluent, English is my native tongue. I will never cast away the fact that I was already born bilingual, because as Jamaicans we do speak our own dialect, which is a language in my mind, even though it's not written. That's what we use to communicate. So yeah, being born bilingual, speaking patois, it's easier to learn other languages. I'll just put it that way. Now, living in Spain from the age of 16 to 17, and then working in the travel industry and using the Spanish that I had learned and mastered for the rest of that period, I realized I have been a multilingual speaker for more years of my life than just being bilingual. And with that, I embarked on a digital nomad life. I had this dream of traveling throughout South America because, you know, as an agent, you go where the resorts are or you go where the cruises take you, but you don't get the immersive experience. And so I thought, I need to learn about my Latin American neighbors. I need to immerse myself. And I have discovered no matter how much you read or listen to information or go through the history, there is just something about being there that just makes it all come alive. And so, even though it was not my intention when I started in August to be a digital nomad, this is what has happened. And so I've had the advantage of living a month in the Dominican Republic. It turned out to be a mixed bag. And I've learned a lot, especially after I left, and not about the country only, but about moving and living somewhere and adapting and going with what you know, and judging based on what you see and all of these wonderful things. Anyway, then we went to Mexico. Now, I thought I would be adjusting a whole lot easier in Mexico because I've been there several times for work, right? But I've always been in a resort or a hotel setting, all about tourism, never just to live among the people, try to get along. They didn't have to respect me because I was an agent or I was coming from a known established area. I was just another human being, a visitor in their country. And so it was a different experience. And I noticed so many different things about the Mexicans, the differences and a few similarities between them and the Latin Americans. Sorry. Well, they are Latin Americans, but the people from the DR. And I give you all of that background so that you understand what happened last night. Last night, I was going through music. I was, deciding I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna listen to some music. And there is this one artist, Cheyenne, that I absolutely love, along with many others. But he's en vogue. He's ageless. He has been a superstar from in the 90s, but his music, it's just vibrant and alive, and it renews itself, right? And then while I listened and started going through the words of some of the songs to learn it, because if I love a song, I'm going to learn the words, I found a feature where I could save the music. I know I've always known of it, but I've never really paid it attention. So I found this particular way to save it for my shorts, and I incorporated it, as I had some shorts that were just sitting there. They were like, they didn't really tell much of a story, and there was not a lot of voice happening, or the voice was very low, or there are different reasons why they were not necessarily usable. But when I dubbed it with the music and uploaded it just for fun, I went back within a few minutes, just willy-nilly checking out the analytics, and this one shorts had like 300 and odd views, and I was like, what? How? Because normally I'm getting 2 views, 3 views. The shorts are doing kind of decent, but 300 and odd views in minutes was just something to catch my attention. And so I said, So I went back to a few others where I had either used Spanish as the language for the topic, or I had spoken in Spanish, a combination of both, or as in this case, I had used Spanish music. And those were just doing so very well. As a matter of fact, I decided to do it with another artist that I had learned about recently, who is really very merengue oriented. She's from Venezuela. And that one, this morning I saw, got quite a bit of traction. But not only that, for the first time ever in my analytics, YouTube suggested about 12 searches, Spanish searches, that happened since I had posted these videos with Spanish overlay. And I'm like, So everybody basically talking about find your niche. And English is my mother tongue. I have no problem speaking in Spanish, but I mean, sitting on a camera, well, not sitting on a camera, you know what I mean? Talking to the camera and all of that, it takes everything out of you. To do it in your home language, in your mother tongue. To do it in Spanish, that's going to be another cookie. I can do that when I'm up and about doing stuff, but to think that I'm going to do that just sitting here in my favorite place, that was a different thing. However, I've been inspired. So I am going to be posting more content in Spanish. Can you imagine? I came on here, told you the long story for you to discover that I'm going to be posting more content in Spanish, because YouTube has suggested to me that is where the action is. And if you think about it, Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world. And apparently, by YouTube standards anyway, it is underserved. The Spanish Latin America lifestyle is what I've been coveting. As a matter of fact, on my bucket list for the next year is to see how many Latin American countries I can immerse myself in. Paraguay, Uruguay, those are on my list. Argentina on my list, and I am kind of running out of time because for those countries I need to go in their summer, which is coming up. They are basically now in their spring. And so for January to March, I would say, I need to be in Argentina, in Uruguay, and Chile. So look out for the content. And I need somehow to generate the income to maintain those trips. So if you are interested in going with me and supporting this activity, raise your hands in the comment section and let us do it. Well, as you know, Sheri has a lot to say, right? Yeah, Sheri has tons to say. And the funny thing is, there are days I have no idea what I'm gonna say until I say it. And as you might have noticed, these videos are totally unscripted. If you were ever living in my head, you would see how different the thought process and the layout is of what I plan to say and what actually comes out. But that's what happens when you are living unscripted. So until we meet again, ciao for now.